Today on Commander Replay, it's Angel, Demons, and Dragons time with Kailia of the Vast. Does Bruna, Kykar, or Rafiq have answers to one of the most aggro commanders ever printed? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have a few new Patreon supporters in Jedediah Else, Ryan Martin, and Say Ryu. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, or if you just want to get some high quality games of MTGO, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back everyone, playing some Kailia of the Vast today. Today's deck list comes from a new legendary Angel tier Patreon supporter, and that is Damon Redwin. And he sent us over this lovely Kailia of the Vast deck, and we'll be taking a spin with this today. I took a look at it beforehand. It is mostly Angels. There's a couple Demons and Dragons in there, but I think the bulk of it is comprised of Angels. And then, of course, there is Master of Cruelties and one or two other fun little things that we can drop down. That's going to bring it to our turn one, and I think we'll go with the Scry Temple first, and just take a look. We've got another land on top. I think I do want that land, actually. So we'll keep that on top and pass the turn like that. Now, I am joined by 3 Patreon supporters today. I did tell them to bring some decks that are pretty strong. Since we are playing Kailia of the Vast, Kailia have been a pretty strong commander for a long time. The only real issue is it is also a bit glassy. I think it is the very definition of a glass cannon commander. If no one has removal for it and it gets that first attack off, you're in for a world of hurt. If you're able to blow it up before that first attack, then a lot of times Kailia decks won't do all that much because it's not really like a heavy ramp deck for the most part, and you have a deck full of like 6, 7, and 8 drops. So yeah, it's one that I've played. It's one that I played a long time ago. I haven't touched it, oh man, in probably 4 years at this point at least. So certainly a very interesting commander in how powerful it can be, but taking into account the downside is always a thing as well. Anyway, all that to say, I did tell opponents to bring some pretty strong decks, and first up we have Scientific Squid piloting Bruna the Fading Light. I'm interested to see what they do with this. I have not attempted a Bruna deck probably since it was released, and you know, that was a couple years ago at this point, and I've become a much better deck builder in that period of time, so I would not mind taking another crack at Bruna at some point in the future. I've realized, like, after playing the Angel deck, Bruna is a pretty powerful card. The ability to reanimate something, a human or an angel, on top of the fact that it gives you a 5/7 flying vigilance body, it's a lot of, like, just like a lot of mass to put onto the field. Like, you're getting a creature back, you're getting this big flying vigilant attacker blocker. People do recognize that it's good, but I still think people underestimate it just a little bit. It is actually a very powerful card when you can reanimate something with it. And then, of course, if you hit Gisela, you can flip it into Brazella, Voice of Nightmares. Something I've only done once or twice. Unfortunately, Brazella does not protect itself super well, at least from like board wipes, and it did get blown up one of the times that I did get it into play, so that was not the best, but anyway, that does bring it back to our turn 3. We'll play a land, nothing going on right here, so we're just going to tap out and pass. The tapping out, by the way, makes it so we don't have to click OK to every single action that our opponents take over the turn cycle, for those that aren't aware. Anyway, continuing on our opponents, next up we have Chaotix 2075 piloting Kykar Wind's Fury, a commander that I've been messing around with a little bit and hope to revisit very soon. I've got an interesting little build that I've been working on. We'll see what Chaotix is up to today. There's a lot of different directions you can go with this commander. You can go like enchantments, you can go storm, you can go spirit tribal, you can go like general tokens. Basically, casting any non-creature spell is really good with Kykar, so yeah, we'll see what they got going. They do lay down this Fevered Visions. Don't know if that's just for card draw, or maybe they're trying to do like an Owling Mine kind of thing. That would be kind of cool. Hadn't even thought of that. Do Kykar Owling Mine? And then finally, we have Champion Athun piloting Rafiq of the Many. Ugh, I lose to this commander too much. I know Rafiq was good back in the day. I don't think Rafiq's actually gotten any worse. Like, I think it's still a really good commander, just that it doesn't show up nearly as much as it used to, but I still die to this thing all the time, at least relative to the amount of times it shows up. Ugh. So hopefully Kailia's got something for Rafiq today, because getting double striked out of the game, you know, blah. Rafiq does have a couple signets into play, so that's a thing as well. We do draw another land. The Fever Visions will help us to get more cards in hand, which is kind of good. Maybe help us get past the lands that we're drawing right here. But I think what we'll do, we'll play the Swamp, and then instead of our commander, I think I'm just going to go for Smothering Tithe. And the reason for that is like I've talked about a little bit, is that if Kailia gets shot, then this is like a bad deck with no ramp. All right, well, opponent's just going to counter it. I've had a bad habit of getting my Smothering Tithes blown up lately. It's almost like 4 mana do nothing at this point, because people are so on edge about how strong it can be. By the way, the Fever Visions does get us at the end step. We do draw the extra card, lose a little bit of life. We draw a Talisman of Indulgence, so we can get a little ramp going that way, and that one probably won't get countered, so that is good news. So Chaotix lays down a Vesuva, copying a Maria. Sadly a tap land for them, and does mean they won't be able to get Kykar down this turn, and they can lay down a Ghostly Prison. That's a little annoying against us. Sylvan Library for the Rafiq. Yep, that's a real good one. So Rafiq's going to be looking at a lot of extra cards between the library and the Fever Visions, but at the very least, it might be getting some life loss in on them, which is good. So we draw into a Rakdos Signet, so getting all of our Signets now. Let's go ahead, lay down this mountain, and then we'll play the Rakdos Signet and then cast Kailia. This will probably end up doing a little removal check on our opponent, but even if this doesn't pan out, we should still be able to hardcast something like a Darkar Valkyrie or Karmic Guide on our next turn, so that all seems like a good place to be. And we get hit with the Fever Visions at the end step, but we do draw a Hellkite Tyrant, so that is not too bad. Opponent does not use the Pursuit of Knowledge right here. Here comes a Denitha, sure. And while that's going on, I'm actually going to send our commander to the graveyard because of the Karmic Guide, just in case it happens to get blown up for any reason. Denitha tells me that they're probably going to be doing a little bit of a Voltron thing, because that's why you would run that card. Certainly a valid way to go with Bruna. Talking a little bit more about Bruna, the times that I've played it, just being a 5/7 with Flying and Vigilance means you're likely getting damage into your opponent, but it's really hard for your opponents to attack into you profitably through like even the mid game. It takes either a really big army to go wide on you or like a really big Voltron type creature to be able to attack into you profitably. So Bruna's the type of thing that can keep you at 40 life for a pretty long period of time through a game. And I do find that creatures with Flying and Vigilance can be a bit overlooked at times. That ability to attack and defend really does a lot, especially through like a more fair game where you're not just expecting someone to just go like, Torment of Hellfire for 20 on like turn 8 or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, so Kykar is going to lay down a Windborn Muse, and getting all of the Pillow Fort going on. So that's the type of thing that we would want to use Kailia's ability to just drop something in so we can skip past those abilities. But actually declaring attacks into Kykar are going to be pretty expensive at this point, so not great. Oh, maybe opponent did use Pursuit of Knowledge? Somehow it has 2 counters on. Oh, they used it with the Fever Visions. That's what they did. Yeah. So, yeah, if you have a way to draw extra to get some counters on Pursuit of Knowledge, I think that's a pretty good way to go. Here comes a Rancor for the Rafiq. Rafiq is into play, by the way. It is big and scary. Yep, that's a 5/3 with Trample, Exalted, and will give itself Double Strike. Yep, coming our way. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. Yep, gonna be taking the 6 Double Strike right here. I hope to get a Balefire trigger off on the Rafiq. That's about what we're looking at. 12 commanders down to 24. Ooh. Fever Visions gets our opponent. Opponent's got a lot of open mana. That's not amazing. That's a Swords. Okay. So now we have a second plan of action against this Rafiq, should they want to come our way once again. Let us play this Caves right here. Let's go to combat. Attack the Rafiq opponent. Get the Kailia trigger. Drop in Balefire Dragon. Opponent's got something. Opponent's going to Oblation our Balefire Dragon. That'll give us some extra cards. We could Teferi's Protect against that. Yeah, I think Balefire is going to be a really strong piece. So if we Teferi's Protect right here, that means that we'll untap with Balefire Dragon, and that's kind of a headache for our opponents. On the other hand, if we let Oblation go, we draw 2 cards, but it's going to be a bit of a tempo loss for us. Yeah, I think I like the Teferi's Protection right here. Unfortunately, that means we can't hardcast anything. I kind of wish I cast something in our main phase, but whoops. So we'll Teferi's protect our Balefire Dragon. We still have extra card draw coming from the Fevered Visions, so there is that. Opponent's going to Crossing Grip on our Signet. There are worse things. It's annoying, but there are worse things. And I think that play is because opponents drawing so many cards with the Fever Visions in the Sylvan Library that they're just trying to use resources. I think is why that play comes about. Because if I were in their position, I might do the same thing. I tend to hoard resources just a teeny bit more than some people do, but if I know there's a lot of card draw coming, I will just try to like clean my hand out at points. So I can definitely understand that line of play. We do draw into a Phyrexian Arena at the end step off the Fever Visions. We do not lose any life, though, because of the Teferi's protection. Would not be super upset to see, like, a board wipe out of our opponents. Rafiq is strong enough to warrant a board wipe. Here comes a Luminarch Ascension for the Bruna. Yeah, that's a good one. And they're going to lay down a Luxodon Warhammer. Yup. Would not mind getting myself a little bit of life gain at this moment in time. Our life is down to 24 already. It's only turn 6. So I'm going to equip the hammer to the Denitha. Yep. So that's going to be First Strike, Lifelink, Trample, and Vigilance. That's a lot of abilities. So I'm going to send that over to the Rafiq, and this is good for a couple reasons. One, it'll bleed Rafiq's life a little bit, which will make it just a teeny bit harder to go wild with Sylvan Library, plus the impending life loss on Fevered Visions. Getting them closer to Alpha Strike range and making it harder to really kind of go wild with Sylvan Library is always good. Also, it means that Rafiq will probably be attacking into the Bruna this coming turn, and Bruna did leave one Plains open, which could be a Swords or a Path, which could be pretty good. Ooh, opponent cracked... Oh, I missed it. Yeah, opponent cracked their Pursuit of Knowledge. So they did draw 7 cards. That puts them up to 9 cards in hand. They're going to discard some stuff. They discard a Plains, and they discard 2 Plains. Interesting. So because of Bruna, I don't know what they drew, and I don't know what's in their hand, but I definitely would have tried to discard an Angel or a Human just to get those into the graveyard, because obviously Bruna brings them back very easily, so... There's a Mokokoro in for the Kykar. Yeah, it kind of looks like an Howling Mind deck. I would not be sad to see the Mokokoro get activated. I am trying to catch a land right here. But opponent's going to play a Time Spiral. Ooh, that changes things a bit. Now, what we need to do with all of that, I don't know if we can actually... We will need to send Kailia to go back to the command zone if she dies. Unless for some reason we redraw this Karmic Guide. Opponent's going to play a Path to Exile on the Windborn Muse. I probably still would have shot the Rafiq, honestly. Windborn Muse is annoying, but Rafiq will actively kill you. And just because they have a Denitha, even though it has First Strike, I don't know. Rafiq can get so big and get unblockable that's I definitely would have shot the Rafiq right there. Sadly, we'll be losing... We had a Swords that we could have used at some point, but... it is not to be. We do find an Aurelia. Aurelia is a good one, and we should have the mana for it when it comes back to our turn. Ooh, that's a Runescar Demon. We got the new Kailia. New Kailia is a human cleric. We can't flash that one in off of the Kailia ability, per se, but we could get pretty wild with, like, Runescar Demon. What's this thing do? Brought Back. Out of M20, choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. It's not terrible. That is not terrible. That's a card that I'm going to have to look into just a bit more. I've been looking for more ways to protect my stuff. The obvious 2 in Boros are Teferi's Protection and Boros Charm. When you get into something like Eerie Interlude, it is great, but it doesn't protect your artifacts and your enchantments. Which is something that I've been looking for. So Brought Back, something that I might need to give a little bit of a look, especially when you're talking about a Sunforger package. So Rafiq is up to 8 cards, getting the Sylvan Library trigger. They can make it more if they want to. Probably won't, though. But if they do, then you know it's probably all gas. So they're putting 1 back, putting 2 back. Yeah, that probably makes the most sense, given their current position. Plays a Reliquary Tower. Okay, yeah. I hear card draw with Reliquary Tower is good. There's a Kasali Pride Mage, does not impact us at the moment, but there are plenty of good things to shoot, like Ghostly Prison, Fevered Visions, or Luminarch Ascension. Also, this Luxodon Warhammer, a reasonable target. We'll have to see how they want to use that. Yep, there's an Aqueous Form for the Rafiq. It can no longer be blocked. There's a Feast and Famine. Ooh, yep. So the one thing I want to do, I want to check out, opponent is going to combat, and someone's going to get blasted real hard. I want to check out the wording on Master of Cruelties. It says, whenever Master of Cruelties attacks a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this turn. Now, unfortunately, opponent does have this blocker right here, but with the Balefire Dragon will actually kill the blocker. Okay, so I think we can take out the Rafiq opponent this turn. If we go Aurelia, use the Kailia ability on Runescar Demon, When we attack again, use the second Kailia ability to get Master of Cruelties. I think that's what we're doing. Opponent's got 1 mana open. That could be a swords, or it could just be them holding up Kasali Pride Mage. Gotta hope it's not a swords or a path. We're on 6 mana. We'll go to 7 if we play a land right here. Let's play a land. Play the Dragon Skull Summit. Let's get the Talisman into play. Let's cast Aurelia. Ooh, opponent's going to Kasali Pride Mage on the Ghostly Prison. Ooh, yeah, we're in the clear now. We can now take down the Rafiq opponent. Go to combat. So Balefire definitely into Rafiq. Aurelia into Kykar. Kailia into... I guess we'll send that into the Bruna. Aurelia trigger on the bottom. Kailia triggers. Get Runescar Demon. We'll send that in against the Kykar. Runescar Demon will trigger. Get the old Master of Cruelties. Aurelia triggers. Untap everything. Champion says Chaotic spiraled away his board wipe. Yep, that is a thing that happens. Oh, make sure we send this back to the command zone. So Balefire will trigger. Rancor will go back to its owner's hand. And go to second combat. Kailia into champion. Balefire into Bruna. Aurelia into Bruna. Kailia will trigger. Use the ability. Get the Master. So, Master of Cruelties triggers, makes our opponent's life total 1. They will die to the Kailia. Balefire triggers on the Bruna. They're down to 3 life after combat damage. And, yeah, they need a board wipe. They need a board wipe. Something fierce. We draw with the Fever Visions, puts us down to 22. We draw a Plains, and we'll pass turn like that. Opponents need board wipes. Also means they can't go wild with that Ancient Tomb. Here comes an Emeria Angel for the Bruna. Not the board wipe that they need. Rafiq opponent and I discussing Rafiq and Kailia, probably pretty even in terms of power. They can both kill people pretty quickly and have a lot of good tools at their disposal. So we were definitely in the right to focus each other down. Opponent puts the Warhammer on the Emeria Angel. Yeah. And Fever Visions will drop them to 1. Don't crack a fetch. Ooh, there's a Core Haven for the Kykar opponent. That's a Sword of Fire and Ice. We can block. That's a thing that we can do. But if we didn't, they could theoretically kill the Bruna opponent. They could also kill our Kailia, which is not amazing. Neither opponent plays a board wipe right there. That's really the thing that they want. Now, Chaotix could have some nasty stuff. They do have the Core Haven that we can see. They can activate a Makokoro, which just gets his card draw. But with 5 open mana right there, you know, they could be sitting on a Settle the Wreckage, could be sitting on a Comeuppance, and those would be pretty dangerous for us. Don't know if they are, but if they are, it's an issue. Brings it back to our turn. We draw another land. Wasn't really looking for a land right there, but I guess that's what we got. Let's play the Fetid Heath. We'll play the new Kailia. See if we can get some card draw going right here. Opponent's going to Reality Shift on Aurelia. Okay. Yeah, that seems totally fair. Aurelia is really good. It's a really good card. Does make me sad, though. Let's see what we hit with the Kailia. We do have an Angel under the Manifest creature, so we could potentially flip that up at some point. We have one... Ooh, that's a Safara. Yeah, that's a good one. Grab Safara. Go to combat. Opponent just tapped their Ancient Tomb. I don't think they want to do that. Untap their Ancient Tomb. Okay, they caught it in time. Oh, opponent was going to try to make an Angel. That's what they were going to attempt to do. No, actually, I don't know what they were trying to do. Okay, well, let's try some stuff right here. So let's send Runescar Demon and Kailia over to the Bruna. We'll send Balefire, and I guess just Balefire over to the Kykar. I never even thought about how big of a pickup Safara is for this deck. Safara is huge for this deck. So we go to combat. Kailia will trigger. Opponent just going to fog the Balefire. Yep, that seems like a good plan. Use Kailia's ability. Grab the Safara. Safara's into play. Tapped and attacking. Does have lifelink. Lifelink would be pretty good for us right here. The Indestructible also really big. Now we won't lose our creature to this Emeria Angel. However, and down goes the Bruna. Okay. So one of the things I had thought about was that if we didn't get Safara, then this would die to the Emeria Angel, and we could use the Brought Back to bring it back, and then get another trigger to tutor up something real nice. But we'll just sit on that. Actually, we can flip this up. So flip up the Resplendent Angel. And we should get a trigger right here. Yeah, get a Resplendent Angel trigger. Cool. I've never gotten one of those before, I don't think. And we Fevered Visions triggers. We draw a Tithe. Now opponent needs spot removal plus board wipe or an exile board wipe, and that is significantly harder to ask. They are in blue, so they could have mass bounce. Mass bounce would be kind of a headache for us. Or they could just like pillow fort us to death, you know, if they got like more ghostly prison type stuff. Right now we are kind of a go wide army, so, you know, pillow forting prison effects really good against go wide. Opponent's going to use the Makokoro, sure. We draw Vilis, Broker of Blood. There's another big pickup for this deck. Apparently there's been some really good angels and demons printed in the past year or two. I haven't thought about Kailia in a long time and about what it can do, but yeah, the quality of creatures was not bad even when this deck came out, but has gotten even better. I personally am a fan of Rakdos the Defiler. It only works one time, but I still think it's a cute trick to make someone sacrifice half their stuff. I would probably go with that over Master of Cruelties, depending on the meta. If it's, you know, if it's go as hard as you can kind of meta, then sure, Master of Cruelties is fine. But I don't know, I guess the way Kailia is just gonna attract a lot of hate, so you do have to play it strong because it's going to attract the hate, so kind of a self-propelling cycle right there. Opponent's gonna lay down Urza's Incubator. Spirits? Chosen type is Spirit, okay. Opponent's gonna play a Wall of Reverence, okay. Opponent has just a little bit of mana untapped. Maybe I need to build my Kailia deck in paper. I had two Kailias for the longest time. I traded one because I think it was like $35 or something at the time before it got reprinted, but I think I'm pretty sure I still have one in a binder somewhere. Maybe I need to build a Kailia deck, because this deck is just fun. And my pool of Boros cards is very good. Also, my pool of black cards is pretty good, too. So, Mardu is a color wedge that I have many cards in. It's green and blue, where I really don't have as many of the staples as I probably should, so I may actually be able to build this deck pretty easily. We draw into a Thunder Dragon. Enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to each creature without flying. Yep, that doesn't do much of anything at this point. But we do have this Vilis in hand, so we'll probably go for that. And then we'll probably try to use all of our lands to draw as many cards as we can. That seems like a pretty good plan. We can also shoot some stuff down. That seems like a pretty good plan also. So I guess we go on the big attack. Chaotic says he forgot to put in his tutors. That's a big oops. Go on the big attack. Kailia will trigger. Use Kailia's ability. Get Vilis. Vilis is in. You start using Vilis' ability. Shoot the token. We draw a Sulphurous Springs. These pain lands are going to be really good with Vilis. Use the Caves. 1 damage to ourselves. Vilis will trigger. We draw a Linvala. Shoot this Spirit. Draw more stuff. Draw a Mother of Runes. More lands. I am curious to see if opponent will... Yeah, I don't think this is 38. Plus opponent can Core Haven one time right here. Didn't see what they Core Havened. Probably Balefire, probably? Yeah, Balefire would make the most sense. Opponent gonna block Kailia. Okay. Opponent gonna block Vilis with the wall. Yep. Opponent goes down to 13, so they'll get another crack at it. Right here, let's play a Sulphurous Springs. I don't think there's really a need to play much else right here. We're just gonna discard a bunch of stuff. We've already drawn a ton of cards. We have so much card draw. Resplendent Angel will trigger. Fevered Visions will trigger. Ooh, Gisela, Reforge of Soul, Deathless Angel. Those are cool. Resplendent Angel gives us an Angel. We'll discard a bunch of lands. Deathless Angel's a bit redundant with Sephara already in play, although it helps Sephara, but I'm feeling okay at this moment in time. What else are we getting rid of? Probably, I guess, Godless Shrine. Our ability to draw with Vilis is so good that, like, we can find a land some way or another. Again, opponent, if they have spot removal for Sephara, then a board wipe, they could get us that way. We do have the brought back, so we could bring 2 things back in that situation. A mass exile or a mass bounce would definitely buy them a lot of time. But either way, I think they've got to be looking at some form of like mass board wipe, mass bounce, something like that. That's a Wheel of Fortune, so digging for answers. Yep, not much that we can do about it. We draw a Glory. Nice. That's a card that I probably need to explore a bit more. 3/3 flying. Pay 3. Creatures you control gain protection from the chosen color until end of turn. Activate this only if Glory is in your graveyard. That's a pretty good ability. Oh, that probably needs to go in the Angel Reanimator, right? I didn't see what opponent just did. What'd they just do? Ooh, they swords. What'd they swords? They swords Vilis. No, they needed to get rid of Sephara. Scour all possibilities. Scry 2, then draw a card. I mean, Vilis is crazy good too, but... the plan needs to be swords into board wipe. Oh, okay. They got it covered. Path on Sephara. Okay. We'll get a land. Grab, I don't know, let's just say a swamp. Razaketh in hand. Whew. Bishop of Wings. Ah, opponent trying to do the combo. If you get Arcane Adaptation, you get, with Bishop of Wings, you have infinite red mana. With Villas gone, do we have a way to get Glory into the graveyard? Razaketh has Trample. That's a thing. That's probably the way we get here. We draw Mistveil Plains. Play the Mistveil Plains. Let's get the Sneak Attack. Opponent's gonna Arcane Denial the Sneak Attack. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we just use the Kailia ability on Razaketh. Okay. So, Kailia, get Razaketh. This should do it. So, down opponent goes. Yeah, Kalia's still really good. This is still a really good deck. So let's take a look at the deck list. Again, this deck list was submitted by Patreon supporter Damon Redwin. So like I said, I haven't played Kailia in a very long time, but I do have some experience with it from years back. Just taking a look at some of the newer stuff that this deck has picked up that looks really good. Villas looks insanely good, which we saw. Razaketh is somewhat recent, also looks ridiculous. Safara looks ridiculous in this deck. Resolute Archangel was not available the last time I played Kailia. Amaria Shepherd. Yeah, that wasn't available last time I played Kailia either. So, like I said, it's been a while. These are some great new additions for the deck. Unfortunately, it doesn't have some of the cards. Like, I love red and white Achroma. They're just fun to me. The red one especially is not always the most effective. The white one still does a lot. Protection from 2 colors, plus the Flying, Vigilance, Haste, Trample, First Strike tends to do a lot. But, yeah, just a little bit sad that they're not in there, but I totally get it. They do get outclassed by some of these demons in particular. Those things are nasty, nasty, nasty. Steel Hellkite, very solid choice if you need some removal. What else we got? Lyra Dawnbringer, newer card. Get some lifelink on those angels, definitely. Glory is one that I had not thought about and something that I might need to think about for some of my other decks. So something that I might want to give a look at. Obviously, we saw the Master of Cruelties combo right there. That's been known about for quite a while. Quicksilver Amulet, nice little option in case Kailia gets blown up. I definitely like that inclusion. Linvala, if you need to shut some things off, very cool. Also just a card that I like and gives you some sort of low curve creature, which this deck definitely needs. Smothering Tithe is a huge pickup for this deck because, like I talked about, when Kailia gets blown up, you have a deck full of high drops that are very tough to cast. Smothering Tithe can easily take you from 4 to 7 to 8 mana pretty easily. So if that sticks for one turn, you can actually hardcast one of these big creatures. So that is another big pickup. Angel of Vitality, if you game in life, draw that one. That one's fine. But as a small creature, seems reasonable. Generous Gift, nice removal right there. Resplendent Angel, pretty good pickup, especially with all the life gain stuff and the angels going on now. Again, another nice low drop creature, and has some extra abilities on there. We actually did get to trigger it a couple times. Embodiment of Agonies. I haven't even seen this one yet. Flying Death Touch. Enters the battlefield, a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana cost among non-land cards in your graveyard. That's weird. I don't even know what that means, but it seems like it gets big. New Kailia actually worked out pretty good in this deck. Don't know if I would play it as a commander, especially when you have old Kailia as just, like a crazy, crazy strong thing. On the other hand, old Kailia picks up a lot of hate. New Kailia probably isn't going to pick up the same level of hate that the old one is. So, or maybe it will just because it has the same name. I'm not sure. But if you wanted to try something like this that's like slightly less busted and not get the removal from the table in the same way, New Kailia may be a way to go. They made the choice to use Sunforger. I could definitely see not running Sunforger in this deck, just because it's very intense mana-wise, and you already have a bunch of really intense mana plays happening. But if you get it into play, you do have access to your Teferi's Protection, your Boros Charm, even, where's that cool new one we saw? Brought Back is a very reasonable option as well. So that's definitely all solid. I like all of that. Opponent has, I think, all of the Talismans and Signets, which is how you want to build this deck. So we got Boros Signet. Got some Greaves. Obviously, want some Greaves are very good. Signet, Boots, and Talismans. Definitely, that's the way to go. You want all the mana rocks you can. Get Kailia down as fast as you possibly can. And there's a Soul Ring. Zagovian Angel. I don't really know what that one's doing. I'd probably cut that one. I don't know if it's just a filler spot or what. Reconnaissance, I definitely like that inclusion. Keep your Kailia protected or anything else that could die in combat. And then we have Mother and Giver of Runes, also really good. Protecting your Kailia is also the next most important thing. So as far as protection, we see Mother and Giver of Runes. We see Lightning Greaves, Swiftfoot Boots. Those are all great. Brought Back is a way to get it back into play. We do a Bishop of Wings. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield, gain 4 life. That's not bad. And whenever an angel dies, create some spirits. It's okay for 2 mana. It's not terrible. It is white, which is maybe a little bit harder, which may not be the easiest thing all the time, especially on turn 2 to cast. All in all, I think the deck looks pretty solid. I like the mana ramp. I like the Quicksilver and the Sneak Attack right here as sort of a backup plan in case Kailia goes down. And Smothering Tithe can act in that same capacity as well. So that's 3 cards that are doing that for you, which I really, really like. Take a look at the land base real quick. They do have Hall of the Bandit Lord. They don't have Hainware Battlements or Flamekin Village. Those might be some additional options that you want to explore as more ways to get haste on Kailia. Flamekin Village, although it comes down tapped, is nice because it produces colored mana. Hainware, the one issue there is that it produces colorless mana. But opponent does have 3 signets in the deck, so it's not too hard to change that colorless mana into colored mana. So just some things to think about. All in all, I think the deck looks pretty good. I don't think there's a lot that I would change here. And, one of the things with Kailia anyway is that, like, it's already a really strong deck. The question is, do you need to make it stronger? I don't know. I mean, unless you're playing in like a really, really hardcore meta, like Kailia just on its own is just going to be stronger than probably 80% of the field anyway. So, there's it's sort of that question of, do you need to go 100% with Kailia? The answer is, I'm not really sure. Maybe in really specific metas, but there's definitely reasons to not go all the way with it. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this look at Kailia. Like I said, I don't think there's really that much I would change in the deck. Maybe this 1/1 Angel right here isn't doing that much for me. 1 or 2 other things, like this Demon, seems fine, but who knows? Without having seen it yet, I'm not actually sure. Maybe just a touch more removal of the deck. Does actually seem pretty removal light. So there's an Anguished Unmaking. Wouldn't mind seeing like a Chaos Warp in there, or even like a Return to Dust or something like that. Yeah, just a touch more removal. I understand that this deck wants to be the threat. The problem is that when things go wrong and you're not getting that fast start like you want, and you're not the threat, then you may need some kind of answer. But it's a tricky balancing act also, because you don't want to run too much removal because you want to be drawing your big creatures for Kailia. So that's maybe the issue right there. Maybe some card draw. Wouldn't mind seeing like an Ambitions Cost, Ancient Craving, that sort of stuff. Would not be terrible. They have Wheel, they have Reforge the Soul, works beautifully with Smothering Tithe, so 2 good card draw options right there. Maybe an extra piece of card draw. I'm not saying it's a must, but definitely doesn't hurt. So, but yeah, all in all, I think it's in great shape. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.